warm up in the outside too.
What you got down over there, boy?
The battery's dead and the remote back there, and it keeps kicking
It's
breaker.
right away, I believe.
So the heat won't stay on. The heat won't stay on.
Oh, that's one of those 1, 2, 3.
I knew Matt coming in there. It's too warm in here as it.
Right. You have to turn this way.
I had a shirt on, blue dress.
This way, slow. This way.
It was already that way.
Well, there's a bit of snow in here before Matt takes it to the pool.
Last week we got like 26 feet of water, and then the next day 3 inches of snow.
Yeah.
Then we hit spring.
But it was
Huh?
the forward and snow coming across Hill Drive out last night. That's come back in that low game.
Oh yeah.
It's
Abby's in Jackson.
Where's you gonna go down at, Lexington?
Buckley,
Back there.
old Buckley, on that grandboy place.
we got floods for again this week.
That water get you in your basement?
Huh?
Yeah,
How deep was it?
about a foot.
Cut Gilman from Cook called him, said it was way up his.
Wash it out.
It's about a foot
Just let
too.
it down all at once this week.
They said Cumberland River was the biggest hit bed since 1997. I mean 1977.
Well, where'd you end up going, Jay?
Had to walk.
Oh, did you?
Up behind. Water across the road.
No idea.
Cover the road, good man.
Yeah.
How bad is that thing?
Huh?
How bad is that thing?
Lower section, that's lower section. Where's lower section? I guess that's
Oh, where the rack,
No,
rack
that's
track.
Buckley.
No, not that one. I'm just wondering.
Up
They
the
won't
bottom
come
somewhere.
Neither one of them going?
Got a lot.
This is, let's go.
I had to get a door in here.
That's right.
Turned in down yonder,
Yeah,
Bud County.
yeah. Lots of creeks.
Get up down there, man.
What it takes to get it
It's on the
all.
road there.
Huh.
You got, this time you got over the road places you wouldn't expect it. It even crossed the road out at McDonald's, and cut the road off at that McDonald's. Over Francis,
Yeah.
there's a little gap right in behind her. They come right across the road right there. Cut the road off, and then you couldn't get that Pepsi plant. Where the old Pepsi plant was, as far as you could get the other way.
Hmm.
Cut the road off out there.
It got up in Main Street there, too.
Yeah.
I think somebody was above the one up down that highway there.
Yeah. Main Street was flooded, and everything on the other end of it was.
That's that Common Lake, got them boats up in the timber down there. They said that river was the biggest one in 1987.
It still ain't crested yet.
No.
And they give them, what they said, up to possibly 5 inches of rain again this week.
That will be washed away again.
The sunshine jump when that happens.
See, do you know what sing for?
Shy,
Shy.
you gotta come up and help sing. Because the blonde one is here and the ginger does not get off. Come up and help. We can do some Jesus blues. Josh in.
Preached 3 services.
Did you?
Ain't been able to do it. I preached Wednesday, this past Wednesday. With Josh.
Yeah, Josh got it.
Yeah, I see it yesterday.
3:33.
Oh, it's pouring down there. That's what you
prayer request?
Huh?
That's a prayer request one?
It's good to be back in the house of the Lord again tonight, Dave.
Amen.
Glad to see everybody here. Y'all pray for us and their family. Remember Bo and Sherry and Darrell there. They'll get back safe and everything. But I thank God for everything He's done for me and all He's gonna do. Y'all just remember, pray for Him. We can do more for Him.
Remember us and our family, Brother Mac. Remember our family, pray that they get saved and come to know the Lord, and pray for Roger, needs to be saved. Pray for me that I'll follow Christ and do what He wants me to do, not what I want to do.
Amen.
Pray for my sister-in-law and her family. She's lost two sisters within a year's time, and now she's losing a brother. Pray for them. I've got a lot of people that's asked for prayer. The Lord knows each and every one of them.
Y'all be praying for me and Ricky as we go back to work, and pray for Cheyenne and Austin, that the Lord's will, everything will fall into place. If not, there's a reason. And they just have to be patient. Y'all be praying for Ricky's friend Wade. He's real bad in the hospital. They give him up to die, but that's not their call. That's God's.
Amen.
So that man's saved. Pray that he hangs in there.
Everybody remember that buddy of mine, Willie Smith. I'd say some of you know and remember his family. Pray for him. He passed away last week.
Mac, remember our brother-in-law that he's dying with cancer. Just pray that the Lord will comfort him, Remember my cousin Brian? They talk like that maybe he's dying. He has liver cancer and got some kind of infection in his blood, had a really bad stroke. He's raising a young teenage daughter on his own that really, really needs him. God knows what's best in their lives, but pray for him. Pray that he give his heart to the Lord.
Amen.
I've got a lot of family and friends. Remember me and my walk with the Lord, and pray for the remainder of the service, and remember all the lost.
Yeah.
Got family lost, brother. Needs to be saved. People's called us and asked us to pray for them, please. There are all kinds of sick people out there. It's so much sickness going on right now. And this even got school called off on account of it. First one thing to another. People dying all around us. I've got 4 out in Orange Lincoln at my house, 2 on each side of me, down with cancer. I tell you, we need to really pray. Lord, we ever pray.
I hate cancer. That ain't nothing but the devil.
Works of the devil.
And that, we need to, everybody pray hard on that coronavirus, that don't get over here on us, wipe us out. I believe China's sent that over here on us, trying to.
2 ships landed yesterday morning with 500 some people on them with it.
Yeah. That's the work of Satan,
In
buddy.
Florida, that was in Florida, where they landed at.
Pray for me and my family. Pray for Sean, her sisters, brother. He lost her mother Friday night or Saturday morning. It was about 12 o'clock when they called the house.
Yeah, we need to pray hard for them. Earl lost his mother-in-law. When was it, Friday night?
Friday night or Saturday morning, she called about 12:30 and said she was dead. I don't know what she died before.
You know, the way I believe is that the Lord, we just drove up.
Amen.
please pray for my family. I made a mistake and said something a little bit political, which I never do. I never. Unless it's about life or the right to life or something. And I made a mistake and said something, and I'm telling you, I don't want my family to try to take sides. You can't talk to people no more. There's no talking,
No.
and you come out looking like an idiot. I mean, I really look like I was talking to myself on top of being an idiot. But it caused a lot of problems with the family. I don't want to start problems in my family unless it's to make them think about Christ.
Amen.
You know, politics is gonna fade away, all these things are gonna pass away. The only thing left standing is where we spend eternal life.
That's right.
Y'all be praying for Abby as she comes back from Jackson. You pray for our young children that they can see sometimes it's not God's will, it's our own. I've been through that. Push, oh, this is God's will, this is God's will. And it took me a long time to get what was God's, and what He gave to me. So y'all pray for these children so they can step back and say, what is God really telling me?
That's right. You know, a lot of people out there still don't believe in the Lord. I was watching a thing on TV. Everything you say, they say, if they are a God. I can't stand to watch stuff like that. I know there's one myself. But there are a lot of people that don't believe it.
Oh, yeah.
Just like I've heard a lot of preachers saying, you know, they've been preaching that since I was a little boy, the Lord. I heard that right on TV the other day, folks say it. I've been hearing that ever since I was a little boy. I thought, yeah, you're fixing to get surprised, buddy.
Well, you look at it, mamas have been telling their youngins something's hot since they've been little. That's hot, that's hot. Well, that's true, that's hot. Don't be touching it.
Right.
The Lord's coming. You better be ready for it.
I've been taught that since I was a little boy too, and I believe now more than I did then, and I believed it when I was a little boy that in the Lord. That's what it says, bring them up as you'd have them brought up and then never leave them. And right now stuff that Mommy told me, I remember. Comes to pass too. Got anything, Josh?
Just the basics of pray for my family because they got a lot of lost loved ones. They're fighting it, but I don't think they have much of a choice in it. We brought God into it. God will save them. Kind of like me, I didn't have much of a choice once God got a hold of me. A lot of people has got sickness, and I believe if we all come together, all the people that we know that are sick can be healed.
Amen.
Really pray for our pastor. Pray for churches. Pray for revival.
Yeah.
Pray for the preachers.
Pray for the speaker this morning.
Yeah.
Pray that they speak what needs to be spoken.
Now you know, if we could get our children in here, we'd have it full.
Amen.
We've got our families in here, we'd have to move the benches out.
Yeah, we'd have to standing room up. Anybody else got anything? All unspoken then.
I'm going to a place so fair. There'll be no pain, no sickness there. For God Himself with His own hand will dry my tears in glory land.
for offering for?
Dear Heavenly Father, bless all for what you're about to give. Bless those that can give, bless those that cannot give, God. And thank you for letting us come in here and listen to your word one more time, God. And we give you all the praise, all the honor, and all the glory in Jesus' name. Amen.
Which one, the red one?
Yeah, that's big. I'll need that. That's what brother. You can keep that one if you want. Might have something in it. I don't know.
Josh trying to give you Bill boy.
He was, wasn't he?
Like mine's got like that.
If you have your Bibles, let's go to Galatians chapter 5. Everybody gets a little chance to get the Galatians. It comes right after Corinthians.
What chapter?
Chapter 5. And it reads, starting at verse 7, just going to read you two. Ye did run well. Who did hinder you that you should not obey the truth? This persuasion cometh not of him that calleth you. Let's pray. Who did hinder you that you should not obey the truth? I kind of like what it says in chapter 3 of Galatians. It said, "O foolish Galatians, who hath bewitched you that you should not obey the truth?" Who bewitched you? What's hindered you? You ran well. You was doing good. What happened? What happened to you? What caused you to stumble? What caused you to fall? What caused you to turn away? But it plainly states it right there. It says, the persuasion cometh not of him that called you. Whatever it is that caused you to stumble, this is definitely not something from God. I'm telling you, later on in the very chapter, it tells you what it is that comes from God. Coming from God is love, peace, joy, long-suffering, gentleness, goodness, faith, meekness, temperance. Against such there is no law. That's what God gives you.
Man.
So what hindered you? What bewitched you? What turned you away? What caused you to stumble? What caused you to fall? Why ain't you obeying the truth? What caused you to go back into the darkness of the world? We learned a lot about being the light of the world today when little brother taught Sunday school and said, well, what caused us to stop being a light to the world? What done it? And I'm going to tell you right now, a lot of people want to blame the devil. Well, the devil made me do it. The devil didn't make you do it. The devil tempted me. Half time, the devil ain't even got to tempt you. You know, I'm not one for giving the devil due, but he's good at his job. He is a deceiver and accuser. Most of the time he's accusing us of doing something. He's up in the courts of God saying that one did this one did that. Half the time the devil ain't even got to act. You know what hindered you? You know what caused you to stumble? Look in the mirror. It ain't the devil, it ain't the demons, it ain't the darkness and the powers and the principalities. It's that dude that looks you back in the mirror when you wash your face in the morning. Don't believe me? Go back to Genesis. Look at the days of Noah. When the world grew so wicked, God decided he was going to flood it and start over. What did he say? He said he saw the evil of men's hearts, for they pondered day and night on wickedness. I'm paraphrasing that. There might be somebody say, well, it doesn't say that exactly. No, but that's basically what it's telling you. He looked into their hearts, and all day they plotted on their own lusts, their own desires, their own thoughts, their own evils, make themselves the gods of their own world. So he saw the evil. It wasn't just the devil. The devil don't put something in you. He just tickles that little thing that's already there. He sees that thing that's already there, and he tempts you on that. What do you think he's playing with? He ain't gonna come to somebody whose sin is a sexual sin and tickle them with money. He ain't gonna go and find somebody that's obsessed with power and tickle their fancy for this immorality. No, he's going to find what's inside and he's going to play off that. But what hinders us is what's on the inside.
Yes.
What hinders Josh is Josh. Said, dude, look at me back in the mirror every day. Said, we are to crucify. Why do you think Jesus said carry your cross with you? Paul says die daily. Every day you got to wake up. You got to take that old man and put him back up on that cross and nail him back to it and say, you're not going to bother me today, because if you don't, that's when he's going to be right there. And I'm tired of people saying, when they see it out in the world, well, I made a mistake. Well, you see, I made a mistake. Well, I did this and I made a mistake. Let me tell you something plainly. Josh has sinned in his Christian walk. Not a bit of it was a mistake. A mistake implies it happened by accident. I walked headlong into those. I chose my path that led me headlong into a very sinful thing or into a sinful act. And if you look at yourself, we want to make excuses. Like Little Bro was talking about, I want to reference you a little bit. He was talking about the willful ignorance, the willful this. He said we willfully do it, and we hide it in the darkness, thinking that nobody else is going to see that. So even God won't see that, because I'm going to hide that off into the darkness, and I'm going to push it away. But we chose this. It was not an accident. You didn't accidentally find yourself in a bar. You didn't accidentally order yourself 3 shots of tequila. You didn't accidentally get that girl's phone number that wasn't your wife. You didn't accidentally steal that money. You chose to do these things. The thing that hinders us most is us. What does God require of us? To love God above all things. And that's the hardest thing for us to do, because the thing that hinders us is the thing that we love the most. We love ourselves more than we love God. These Galatians, he called them foolish. He said, ye foolish Galatians, what's bewitched you? Self. And this world is getting full of self. I'm full of self. Look at it. He said, look at magazine covers. And read the articles on how to better yourself, how to do this for yourself, how to do that for yourself, how to do this. So we got TV shows, American Idol, America's Got Talents, this, and this. Everybody's seeking fame. I've got children coming to me in my library, and when you talk to them about the future, what are you going to do with your life? Well, I'm going to be YouTube famous. I'm going to be YouTube famous. I'm going to get famous. People's going to look at me. People's going to idolize me. They're going to look towards me. We are so full of self that the youth that we built into them, that you can do anything. That no matter what you want, you set your heart to it, you're going to do it. You're going to do this and set your heart and do what you want, instead of teaching them, follow God's path for your life. I don't know where you're going to end up. I don't know what you're going to do. But seek God on it, and he will open the path to you. And when he sets you on it, nothing will stop you. No, we want to focus on the self, and you get the cell phones, the people taking videos, and they're constantly talking. How many people can't even make their own content anymore? They're reacting to other people's content, trying to get famous off of that. And so it is so full of self that you have become the God. Thou shalt have no other gods before me, but you are the God of yourself. I have hindered myself from my walk in the Lord. I look back and see the things that I have done, and this is the most I statement you're going to get from me, because anything good in my life came not from me, but it came from God above. And I have hindered my walk with the Lord. I have chosen paths opposite of what He wanted from me. I have done the wrong things. I have found myself in the hole, in the pit, and in the darkness. I have found myself doing that which that crucifies Jesus anew. He forgave you of your sin. Does that mean you should go back and waller in it? No, but I did. The only thing the devil done was remind me of who I used to be. I'm like, you're right, that's who I am. No. We are a new creation in Christ. Therefore, that old person we are should not be hindering us. They should not be holding us back. The story of Hosea shows what God did for us. If you ever read Hosea, read Hosea. Hosea was the only prophet in which told to marry a prostitute. You're going to go out and marry a harlot. This was a representation of God and His people, the people of Israel and the people of the church, us. He went, he married her, he bound himself to us. And what she do? She went right out and kept continuing her harlotry. She went right back to being a harlot, right back to doing things. She left her husband, left her kids, went right on out. And that's what we done. And then he came, he found her, Hosea found her, and he bought her for a price of silver and barley and wheat. And he done all this, he bought her back. And that's what Christ come for the price. What was it? 20 pieces of silver he was betrayed for. They bought it, a potter's field with that money. So with his own blood, he bought us back with a price. And how do we repay that? We go back out and play the whore again. We are the bride of Christ. The church is the bride of Christ. How is it that we will hinder ourselves and go out and do that which is wrong after He has paid the dowry? He paid the dowry for the wedding. He paid the price to redeem us. He paid with His own life to secure His bride, and we go out and we have an affair with the world. Why? Because it makes me feel good. You know, that's pleasure in sin. There is. And that's what it is with us. That's what the old flesh is wanting. Anybody here like to go out and camp, cook, go outside, go camping, go hiking? I know we got some outdoorsy people here. All right, any of y'all tried to cook on a fire outside? I ain't talking a charcoal fire.
Wood fire.
It's a good wood fire. Now what you got to do for that? You got to stoke that fire, got to get it burning just right. Have you ever tried to cook on a wildfire? I mean, it's just burning as hot as it can burn. First of all, it's not going to get done that way. You take your big chunk of steak, you're going to throw it on there. The outside is going to get scorched. The inside is going to be completely bloody raw because it's too hot. And so that fire is going to burn out in no time because it's burning so hot, it eats up all the fuel. But that's what we want in our lives. We want passion. Look at the TV. What's the TVs and movies that's conditioned us that we want the passion, we want the spark, we want the fire. And you wonder why so many relationships fail out there. Because it burns so hot, it eats away everything and left with nothing. But God's fire, God's love, that's a good slow burning thing right there, ain't it? It's like the fire of a forge. You don't get a forge so super hot and let it burn out, you'll never get the job done. But this is like the kiln, so the heat can temper the silver to burn out the impurities. It's a long burning, good, steady fire, steady heat. That's what it is. But we want the passion. Why? Because that's what ourself wants. And we're going to hinder ourselves like crazy. Who did bewitch you that you should not obey the truth? Look in the mirror and you'll find out exactly who it was bewitched you. Stop making excuses. I see too many. We make excuse after excuse after excuse after excuse. Watch anything on TV and you see it. Watch anything in the news and you'll see it. The Democrats blame Trump. The Republicans blame the Democrats. The people on the 600-pound life turn around and blame their parents. The people in death row blame the way they were raised. They blame the school systems. They blame this. They blame that. Nobody wants to look in the mirror and go, you know what? It was my fault. I'm the one that done it. I'm the one that made the choice. I'm the one, even though God tried to pull me out of it, I chose to go that way anyway. God wants nothing but goodness for your life. Again, look at what it says here. But the fruits of the Spirit. Love. He wants you to be filled with love, not just any love, His love. Joy. He wants you to have a happy life. I'm not telling you if you come into the church and you get saved that you're going to have happiness all day. The devil won't allow that. But ultimately, he wants you to have joy. Peace. That's not saying the storm ain't going to come. The disciples were out there in the middle of the storm. Wind blowing, raging, lightning, rain coming in sideways, boat about to capsize. But the master was on the boat too. All he had to do was calm the storm. Gentleness, goodness, and faith. He wants you to have all that. Now this one sounds it sounds good to you. Long suffering. I might be wrong on this one, but that's right there is the one that I kind of need a lot of, but that's where you can tolerate them ornery people. For us that work in the public, that's a definite that we need. Lord bless them. Meekness, temperance. Against such there is no law. He wants you to have the best of the best. He wants you to come and live with Him. He wants you to spend eternity in a place with no tears, no sickness, no aging. He wants you to spend eternity in the presence of His Father, where they will no longer need a tabernacle, where they will no longer need a temple, where God Himself will dwell amongst you, where He will walk with you, where He will talk with you, where He will wipe the final tears out your eyes, where He will spend every day with you from here on to eternity in such joy that in 10,000 years, 4 minutes. And after 100,000 years, it will still seem like only 4 minutes. He wants you to have the greatest of the great, to walk streets of gold so pure that they can see through it, to live in a place where the waters of life flow freely, where the tree of life blooms month after month with new fruit, that you might eat of the fruit of heaven, that you might sit at the table of the marriage supper of the Lamb. He wants you to have this. Amen. But what do we want? I want that little thing that's going to burn and fizzle and go out. I don't know about y'all. Like I said, I never accidentally walked into sin. There was no accident to it. But when I willfully walked into that sin, it was fun while I was doing it. But afterwards, I felt empty. I felt hollow. I stared at that can and go, that wasn't worth it. Why did I drink that? Or think about what I've done and why did I do that? It leaves you hollow feeling. But when you truly turn to the way that you're supposed to go, you turn into the path and you do something for the Lord. Boy, after you do something nice for somebody, you just feel good, don't you? You don't brag about it. It's no longer about people applauding you. You pulled over and you don't know if they're real. And don't let people discourage you from doing good just because they say, well, that person's a faking or that person's a faking. But you pull over and you give somebody a cup of coffee that's standing on the side of the road with a sign on a cold day. You give them a cup of coffee and $5 and tell them God bless you. And don't see if you don't drive away feeling refreshed and feeling like you've done something good, that you've helped, that you went to somebody who's sick and you laid hands on them and you gave them comfort and you prayed for them and you walk away feeling good. Too much of self is in this world. And you want to know why we're in the shape we're in? We're in this shape because of self. The reason why y'all sick is because we're too much in the self. I saw something on, it may sound like I'm getting off track, but I'm not. I saw somebody post something talking about the flu. This is how much of self we're in. And not in the mindset of God. It said, if you got the flu, if your child has the flu, don't send them to school. Okay. Don't take them to Walmart. Okay. Don't go to the library. Okay. Stay home from church. No. What kind of self-will are you in? Boy, if I'm sick and I got the flu, I don't know about y'all, I'm going to claw my way trying to get here. Amen. Mac had the shingles, and he fought every breath to get here, and he was healed. Amen. So we are too much in the self. Back in them days when they looked up at God, in Peter's day, when they looked up to God and they saw a woman with the issue of blood, saw Jesus crowded by thousands, and said, I have to get to him. That wasn't self. That wasn't that. That was the glory and majesty of God that she crawled through people on the streets, probably got stepped on, but I have to get there. There were people who saw Jesus speaking in a house, and the house was so crowded, people were standing outside. We can't get him in, but under the influence of God, not self, we're going to get up on that roof, we're going to cut a hole, and we're going to get him there. So the people, when Peter and John and all of them come walking through the streets, they knew something godly was there. They wasn't in self. They knew that God dwelt here, and they would line the streets hoping a shadow would fall from them. But what has hindered us from seeking after that which is true? Ourself. Well, I'm sick, and there ain't nothing that God can do. You shorten the hands of God with your self-will thought. You won't be healed because you refuse to be. You won't see it because you hindered yourself. You will not see your families come in because you have hindered yourself. You will not see revival because you have hindered yourself. What has hindered you? It's been self. If we get into God, if we go into God, we sacrifice self. We nailed him to that cross, and then we set fire to that cross and bury it and put it under a ton of concrete, and we keep that old guy down. We keep him down under that dirt, and we get out of self-will. We get out of self-want. We get out of self-serving. Then we start serving the one and the only God of gods, King of kings, Lord of lords, whose one and only Son is Jesus Christ, whose Spirit is the Holy Ghost, who testifies to the things of Christ, and we serve him. Then you're going to be healed. Then your family is going to come in. Then the church is going to be blessed. Then the revival is going to come. And then we are going to stomp the devil into the ground so hard that he ain't going to be able to tempt you. He ain't going to be able to remind you who you were. Because I serve a God. It ain't who I am. It ain't about me. Said, you might be right. I don't know. I gave up on even thinking about myself. I know who I serve. I serve a king who will not fail. I serve a king who has already defeated you. I serve a king who death could not hold on to. When we get out of self and into God, that's when things happen.
Yes, amen.
Now, I've been preaching on against myself. If your toes feel hurt, then you're in the same boat I'm in. I'm not here to make you feel good. I'm not here to uplift you and give you a happy message that'll make you feel good till tomorrow or till Sunday when you come in for another heaven. I'm here to tell you how it is. That there's only one way to heaven through Jesus Christ. And the more we serve self, the closer we get to hell. If you want to serve yourself, make it good and ride it hard because you're going to burn in the end. But if you want to get out of self and step out into the Lord of Lords, he will be with you.
Yes.
For wherever you go, I shall never leave nor forsake you. I will stick you closer than a brother. Right there's my brother, and I know I can call him at any time, and he'll be there for me. He said, there ain't nothing on this world, if it be possible, that I can call my brother and tell him I need him, that he won't be there. And brothers are born of adversity. If I call my brother Michael Bolden and tell him I need him, he'll be here. If I call up over there to Manchester and tell Michael Bargo, son, I need you, he will leave. I don't care if it's midnight, and be here. But Jesus will be there beforehand. Jesus will never leave me. Where they might have to go somewhere else, Jesus is with me. But if I serve self, I'm inviting those demons back in, and there ain't no room for God because he ain't going to share. Who did hinder you? You hindered yourself. Who kept you from the blessing? It wasn't the devil. Who kept you from receiving that which God had promised you? You done it yourself.
Amen.
And I'm tired of getting in my own way. I'm tired of not getting what God has promised me because I'm too stupid to let go of what I want in myself. It's idiocy. Because anything in this world is going to fade. The best man who ever understood any of this was Solomon. And he had learned the hard way. He called it vanity. But everything my eyes saw, I did not deny myself. But this too was vanity. Them cars are going to break down. That money's going to run out. That pretty girl ain't going to be pretty all forever. And that fun stuff you do, it ain't going to be fun forever. Basketball, your knee's going to break down. Football, your back's going to go bad. Hiking up through the woods, there's bears up there. It ain't going to be fun forever. Eventually, it's going to stop. But the joy of the Lord, that is eternal.
Yes, amen.
So who hindered you? You hindered yourself. How do you get out of it? Crucify yourself. Surrendering unto God. What is the truth that we choose not to serve? The truth is Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ what? No, that's just it. Jesus Christ. He is the truth. That is the truth. That is what we serve. That is what we do when we need to get out of our own ways. That's all I got for you. Anybody else got anything? Joel, James, Brandon, any of y'all? Got anything you want to add to that? Jump all over it if not. All right. I'd like to welcome everybody to the altar who needs prayer. If you need prayer, we'll pray with you. Otherwise, find yourself a place, pray, and again, let's try to get out of our own ways and stop saying, I, and start saying, Lord, your will be done. Pray.